lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan,
And I'm Manny.
and we are here to talk about one of our favorite books that came out this week. So this is issue 18 of Batman Superman World's Finest. It's a book we've talked about on the channel. We haven't actually done like a review of the whole storyline, but I know that it was like a pick of the week. But we wanted to spotlight this one. This is the beginning of a new arc, and it's the secret origin of the World's Finest team. So we're gonna get like what this new, first meeting with these guys is. I mean, it's been told so many times. It's not like this is the first time this has been told, but it is kind of a no-brainer, in my opinion, that they're doing this.
I agree.
Because this is set in the past. We've had so many cool guest stars throughout the DC universe coming in and out of this title in the past 17 issues. But I like that it's kind of going back to just these two guys meeting, and obviously Mark Waid, and then Travis Moore on art, and Tanner Bonvillain on colors. I love this cover too, like especially with my lighting in here, like how blue Batman's cowl
that's
is.
cool. I got the Derek Robertson cover only because that's the one my LCS pulled for me, but I'm fine because I like Derek's art anyway. But that is a very beautiful cover too.
Yeah, and the cover is by Dan Mora, FYI, because Dan Mora has been the artist for the most part. I think there might have been maybe a fill-in. I don't quote me on that. But anyways, let's get into this. Travis Moore too has been doing some great work on Nightwing. I think he's been switching arcs. Maybe that's not entirely the case, but like he's done a lot of the current Nightwing.
Yeah, he's done more than just fill-in on Nightwing.
Yeah, and he was the artist on Wonder Woman, I believe, when Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad took over the book post Dark Knight's Death Note. I don't know, it's a mouthful. Anyways, that's besides the point. Travis Moore's a dope artist. I love his stuff. I'm really glad he's on this arc. It's cool to see kind of, just a little bit switch up in the art for this new arc. I love getting to see Harvey Bullock and James Gordon. I like this this era of the Gotham Police Department. It's a lot different now in the current storyline. There's like
James Gordon. Like the classic, that's the great thing about World's Finest is that since it's like set in this nebulous sort of past, you can do these kind of things and bring back these archetypes that we all love. And you said, this story's been told a million times, but like what writer like Mark Waid that loves Superman doesn't want to write their own version of when the big two meet, like that's like you said, it's a no-brainer. And you can tell that Waid is having a lot of fun with this from the very beginning, from just the way that the story starts.
Yeah. And I like too, this, since it's set in the past, we're going to see early versions, but even like Harvey Bullock's like dialogue of this freak always leaves riddles behind. So exactly who he's talking about,
Yeah, there's to mention that it's also the first time they're encountering the Riddler too.
Yes. This is my sweet spot too for Superman, in the bullpen at the Daily Planet, his interactions with Jimmy Olsen without Jimmy's weird new hairdo that's going on in the current Superman book. I don't know. It's a weird hairstyle that he's got, but I mean, that's besides the point. But I like this, you're seeing the flip-flop of what's going on in Gotham and what's going on in Metropolis. And, Jimmy's mentioning it to Clark, about all the disappearances. Some crook called the Riddler, left the cops with this. And it's what's really interesting, and it hasn't even, really played out, is the riddle is written in Kryptonese. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that is pretty dope, and it's an interesting twist. And that's how clever of a writer Mark Waid is that little detail immediately just freshens up the concept. As far as I know, that's something that's never been done. Whereas like the Riddler's using like Kryptonese, and it's very clever. It's an interesting hook, and it's a way to make this feel fresh and new.
And it also is like handwritten Kryptonese, so it's like it's not what you would like at first glance. If you weren't told that it was Kryptonese, I wouldn't have known.
No,
because it doesn't look like what we've seen in the past, which is like very I guess a typed font of Kryptonese.
Right, yeah.
and I just have to say this. I was going to say it at the top of the episode, and I didn't think to say it. This is the best book DC's putting out.
You know what, dude?
I
You're
have to
probably
say,
it's a for me it's a toss up between this and Nightwing, but I gotta say, like, I don't get that. I get jazzed whenever I know this book's coming out,
yeah,
and like I immediately want to like look forward to and read it, and there's something about this book that just puts a big old smile on my face, man.
yeah. That's why I said it's my favorite. I mean, to me, it's like it is a top. It's between Nightwing and this, but there's something about this title. If you love DC, you can read this and be kind of satisfied. And
Yeah,
I don't know
because
how else to say that, because like like I said, it's been touching on so many different corners of the DCU. While yeah, this arc seems like it'll be more focused on just Bruce and Clark, we've had like Metamorpho, we've had the Teen Titans, we've had the Doom Patrol, we've had
Red Tornado. I
Supergirl,
mean,
Red Tornado, we've
yeah,
had so many other characters, even like the Kingdom Come kind of tie in with I think it was the third arc or second arc. Um
yeah.
I don't know, this book just makes me happy as a DC fan. You know, like I'm never more satisfied with a DC comic than when I flip open one of these
No,
issues.
and I've been recommending it to friends of mine that are like a lot more casual that like go to the shop just to play games and like they want to get into comics. I've been like world's finest, man. All you really need to know is Batman is Bruce Wayne and Superman is Clark Kent. Like Wade is very good about giving you enough about the other characters that they may not know of to make it work.
I
So
love
I'm
this.
just glad there's books like this, man, that aren't like bogged down by continuity. And that's no dig because I like a good continuity story as much as the next guy. But comics like this are what's we're gonna keep people coming in, new people coming in to read books.
I love this page where Gordon is like, "You're getting sloppy. I can hear your cape this time." I was half expecting, and then he cuts himself off because it's Superman. So
Yeah,
he's expecting like Batman coming in through the window, and it's not, and that's why he made noise, because Superman doesn't sneak up on you. He doesn't try to hide that he's coming. He doesn't
right.
need
He's
to.
just like, yeah, I'm here.
This
And
page
I love
alone.
the little bit of dialogue here.
Mhm.
It's not like I have a signal for him. Wait a minute, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, this
Anyway,
is just such a great interaction, and it's definitely the first interaction between Superman and Commissioner
and
Gordon.
yeah,
Or I mean, okay, not in the history of comics, but for the sake of
for this
this,
world, yeah.
yes,
And it's an interaction you don't see often, which it's really cool because Wade does it so well, like you said, that the way that Superman walks in, like Gordon's used to this grim vigilante, like Superman is a whole other animal to him.
yeah, and even saying "a pleasure to meet you," I've heard nothing but good things. And then the dialogue
Batman
from
would never say that.
no, and then Gordon talking about like, oh yeah, this, the boys in psych say it's a compulsive disorder stemming from extreme narcissism. He can't help but taunt us with his genius. Like I don't know. There's just something that like as I read this, I smile like at
Yeah,
every like piece of dialogue, because Wade just I've said it so many times, but he just gets the characters. He just knows like what words to put in their mouth, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, it
Um,
does. I mean, that's the way he writes Clark, like you said, the way he introduces himself, like it's the essence of Superman. He's polite and like and respectful and
mhm.
very appreciative of someone like Gordon, who's like a normal human trying to do right in the world. Like Superman probably sees Gordon as a hero to him. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah,
very humble, and he Wade is very good at being able to make Clark both majestic and humble at the same time.
agreed. Yeah. And I love this, how he's like he's looking for Batman, and like you said, he had said there's no signal, but he's like, never mind, he's closer than I figured. Thanks, and leaves.
Yeah,
And then he's like, eavesdrop much, Batman? And Batman, even like the way he welcomes Superman, because we've seen interactions and stories in the past where Batman and Superman meet for the first time. It's not this pleasant. But
no,
I'm glad that it is in this, and I figured it would be in this because the type of Batman that Wade is writing is not douchey,
yeah, I was gonna say he's not the asshole Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
And then Batman obviously is like, translate the riddle for me, because he already knows it, what it's written, because he's Batman. They're gonna go on their first team up,
and
and
I love that it's Magpie coming up too.
dude, Spellbinder, the fucking stupid
Yeah,
ass costume. That's again, that's a testament to Mark Waid and his knowledge and love of DC Comics, is that he can pull out this random fucking villain. I mean, didn't he have Condiment King?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I mean, he has like the most like corny ass characters. I love this part too. Like you said,
Dude,
Magpie's in here.
yes, I'm so glad you mentioned it. The way Clark just
Superman,
reaches up and grabs the axle of the car,
dude.
fucking badass.
I
Dude.
don't think we've ever seen. I mean, I've read a lot of DC comics. I can't remember a time where Superman goes up under the sewer and fucking rips a car. I can't remember seeing that. I thought it was brilliant. It was so cool to see. It's just such a simple like two panels right here where he smacks the manhole over and boom, you
But
see
it's
the
so much
hand.
action, you know.
Yes.
I love that he's still holding the axle too in the next page. Like,
Again, I'm glad to see Travis Moore, on to me, this is a high profile book, especially with DC right now, with the acclaim that people have for it.
yeah,
So it's cool to see, and Nightwing as well, but it's cool to see him on this book because his style really lends itself to a brighter story, which is what Nightwing has been for the most part. A very bright story, not bogged down with like a dark, I don't want to say dark energy, but it's not grim and
no,
gritty, it's bright and
you're yeah,
fun.
you're right, man, and that's the same thing that this title has. Like, although obviously there's a lot of stakes involved, people are disappearing all
Yeah.
over, and no one, but there's still like a brightness to it that I find very welcoming, and I think all that is adding to the package that we were talking about, how it becomes like such a book we want to read right
So
away.
these two panels, Batman calling it out, saying, because he like Superman asked him who's under the mask, and the way Batman's like, I doubt that when you were born, your parents named you Superman. You speak with an ordinary Midwestern accent, likely Kansas. Like, how does he he just knows where he's from. It's just like, it's such a simple thing. It's to me, it's brilliant. Like it's
Yeah,
not super like crazy for like Batman to like hear an accent. But again, like I don't think I've ever read that a piece of dialogue like that when Batman has in the past stories where they've met for the first time. The
no, yeah.
Riddler over here, dude. Like this is the kind of Riddler I want to see, not the Riddler that was in that new Batman movie. I absolutely despise that version. I like this Edward Nygma. He's to be honest with you, I think he's him and Mr. Freeze are my favorite Batman villains. And
Mhm.
or well, hold on, and Ra's al Ghul. Those are my three favorites. And so I love whenever we get Riddler in a story. I like that he's being, manipulated by somebody else. We don't know who that is. And then we get a
This
Clark.
is probably one of my favorite scenes in the issue.
Yes, Clark coming to Wayne Manor.
Yeah, because Bruce Wayne requested that Clark Kent from the Daily Planet come and interview him.
It's so good.
Yeah, and then that's such a Batman move. You know what I mean? Like,
And then look at this, dude. Right, like, all right, let's cut to the chase, Superman. The minute the door
yeah, yeah.
closes,
He just doesn't waste time. The
yeah,
door
no,
closes.
let's cut the bullshit, And he's
Yeah,
like, and
yeah.
Clark's like, what? And he's like, come on, dude. I have Wayne satellites, cameras that LexCorp and the military can only dream about. I've been mapping your flight paths for months. It's just, I just love it. It's not
And then
even
there's the
like,
punchline at the end. To me, he's like, I filled the room with odorless knockout gas a half hour ago, So like, Bruce is wearing like nose plugs and he's got this gas in the room that would knock out any human. And like that was just like the icing on the cake. I'm like that actually made me laugh out loud, when I was
yeah,
reading it. I was like,
yeah. Then you have, after he says that, he's like, don't worry, your secret's safe with me. In fact, I have, a secret of my own. He's like, oh, I know. And just that look that he gives him, oh, I know, like he's like, you weren't hiding anything.
what I
And
like about this, it's like something you mentioned earlier that Waid is doing here, and obviously Moore is doing it with the art too, and the way he's drawing the faces. It's like it's a much like people tend to want to make Batman so dark that like he's immediately distrusting of Superman or immediately like like trying. And this is a much more like positive meeting, like it's setting up like this is how a team how this partnership forms. Like from the very beginning, there's like this casual playfulness with them that I really like.
I totally agree. And to wrap up, I mean, like this, now they're going to go on the case. They're at this like Gotham Memorial Park with like all these names for people that have passed like in the war or a war, I'm assuming. And then there's more Kryptonese like kind of etched out on there, and he translates for Batman what the riddle is, and Clark is stumped because he's not a detective. Like that's not something in his repertoire, you know. And
Yeah,
Batman figures it out,
it's an address.
and then they see Riddler distraught in this ship. This is just such a great book, man. I
Yeah,
absolutely
that's a
love it.
great panel with Superman just ripping the door open. You
Yeah,
know.
that's one of my favorite panels of the book. Clark grabs him, he's like, start talking, dude.
Yeah,
How
I
do
was
you
gonna say. I
know?
mean, it's Clark is maybe not. I mean, Superman may be nice, but he also means business, man. I mean, like he doesn't have to do much to intimidate Riddler. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Where'd you learn it? Batman disappears, right?
yeah,
Superman gets knocked out. I love this panel too. I think it's great. Great panel.
yeah, dude. The perspective is great. And Clark's
It,
expression is great too. He actually,
it,
you could tell he got hit. Like, before you turn the page and realize who it is, it's like whoever
yeah.
hit him is fucking strong. Because look at his face. Like he's like he's not knocked out, but he's knocked.
And it's
And then
it's
of course,
Jax It's not even like it's not even Zod, which like normally you'd probably think it was Zod, right? But it's not. It's somebody else that was trapped in the Phantom Zone. Obviously he's like son of my jailer, and he's switched places with Batman, and that's where we end. Batman floating in the Phantom
in
Zone.
the negative zone.
Superman
I
being
don't think
choked
I've
up.
ever known of Batman being in the negative zone. And honestly, I didn't even think
Phantom Zone.
negative zone.
Phantom Zone.
You know? Oh,
Phantom.
Phantom Zone. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even think about the Phantom Zone when I was reading this. But it makes perfect sense. People disappearing.
Yeah. No, it's great, dude. This is I for
And
for some reason I thought this was a one-shot story that they were doing in between, because I saw that Travis Moore was on it, and I haven't like read super far into the solicits, but I'm very glad, after reading it, that we're gonna have some more Travis Moore, and that this is gonna be a whole story arc, because there's gonna be some guest stars in here, because
of course, man.
every arc has them. So
And every arc he's played with like a different thing, like whether it be the AI, or like Lazarus Pits, or like the Phantom Zone. Like he's also bringing in all these iconic DC Universe things that just make this such a pleasure to read. It's like you said. I mean, it may be just Batman and Superman, but we get such a tour of of the world and of the characters that like this could be the only DC book I read and it'd probably be satisfying.
yeah, like I said, it's my favorite book from DC right now. If anybody that's watching this, listening to it, if you haven't picked up World's Finest, get out there, pick it up. The first collection's already out. And I think the second one should be coming out soon, but don't quote me on that. But I feel like it is. I mean, we're at issue 18, so the second arc's got to be collected soon. I'm sure your shops, you can kind of catch up. If you want to read them single issues, not super hard to find, but yeah, it's definitely worth every penny. It's always fun. I always look forward to it when it comes out. Yeah, go pick it up. Make sure you follow us. Social media, our links are down below. Hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, we're out.
See you next time, guys.